Ladies and gentlemen, you asked for it and here it is. I am happy to provide more long-form content about the law. And ladies and gentlemen, what we do at this channel is we learn about the law in fun and entertaining ways, because let's be honest, the law can be boring, it really can, but my goal is to make it really more interesting because it is actually fascinating. But then again, I'm a nerd like that, but it's fascinating. So today we're going to talk about how to enforce oral contracts. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, oral contracts. My name is Ugo Lord. I'm an attorney here in the state of California. Come join me by hitting that subscribe button and make sure you like this video for more. Okay, so recently on YouTube Shorts, we discussed whether or not a pinky promise was a valid agreement. And ladies and gentlemen, the goal is to focus not so much on the pinky promise itself, but instead focus on the oral agreement. Because the fact is, many oral agreements are valid. I would even go as far as saying that most oral agreements are in fact valid because courts want to focus on what is right and what is fair. And the idea that you can enter into an oral contract and then back out of it later because you thought that the oral contract was not valid seems unfair. So therefore, courts have said that yes, oral agreements are in fact valid, but you have to follow some rules. So let's go ahead and talk about the Statute of Frauds. Basically what this means, ladies and gentlemen, is that an oral agreement will in fact be valid unless there are certain exceptions. Here are those exceptions. Any agreement about marriage must be in writing, which means any oral agreement promising to marry someone cannot be enforced unless, of course, it is in writing. So going out and doing that ceremony and saying I do is not considered a legal marriage. Now, it might be a common law marriage, and perhaps I can talk about that in another video, but it's not considered to be a legal, regular, contractual marriage. Another exception to the Statutes of Frauds is any contract that takes over 1 year to fulfill. If it takes longer than 12 months, then it must be in writing. So even if you agree orally to do something, if it takes longer than a year to do, it's not going to be valid because it's not in writing. You guys, any agreement about real estate must also be in writing, ladies and gentlemen. An oral agreement to buy your home for $100,000 will not be considered valid because it is about real estate. Real estate must be in writing. Also, ladies and gentlemen, when we're talking about the sale of goods above $500, then yes, this has to be in writing. Now, this is about the sale of goods, ladies and gentlemen. So for example, if you say that I'll agree to paint your house for $2,000, that is not a good. So agreeing to that orally is in fact valid. Now, if the agreement instead is I will buy the paint for the house for $750, that is now the purchase of goods. And therefore, the purchase of those goods must be in writing because $750 is above $500, and to comply with the Statute of Frauds, it has to be in writing. And let's also talk, ladies and gentlemen, about repaying the debts of others. Ladies and gentlemen, if you agree to repay the debt of others, that agreement must be in writing. So if you say something along the lines of, hey, listen, she'll pay you back, and if she doesn't pay you back, don't worry, I got you. You must get that in writing in order for it to be legally enforceable, ladies and gentlemen. So, for example, co-signing a car, that would be a valid legal agreement that must be in writing in order for it to be effective. Okay, so now I want to talk about how we can enforce oral agreements. Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. It will always be in your best interest to have an agreement in writing on paper, regardless of what it is. Why? Because it makes it so much easier to prove that you had a meeting of the minds and to prove that you had an understanding if that agreement is in writing. Therefore, written agreements will always be better than oral agreements. But if you find yourself in a situation where you do have an oral agreement and you want to enforce that oral agreement, here are some tips to help you do it. This one is really simple, and I don't know why more people don't do this, but simply record the conversation. So by recording these oral agreements, it would make the oral agreement easy to prove, and that's what you want to do. So simply just get out your cell phone and record. Now, there are caveats, ladies and gentlemen. If there's an expectation of privacy, then you cannot record the agreement without the other party's consent. So what does that mean? It means that if you're on a telephone conversation in many states, such as here in California, for example, you have to get the other person's permission to record in order for that evidence to be admissible. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're out in public at a bar, at a shop, or anywhere that there is no expectation of privacy, then you can simply get out your phone and record the conversation, and that would be a valid way to document the oral contract. Another way to enforce an oral contract is by how the parties are acting. Are the parties already acting like they agreed to this oral contract? For example, if you say, hey, will you paint my house for $2,000? And they say, yes, I'll paint your house for $2,000. They go in, paint the house for $2,000 and be like, sucker. we didn't have it in writing, then the act of actually painting that home will be enough to prove that the parties did in fact have an agreement. Now, I'm not saying to go up to random houses, start painting it, and then demanding $2,000, because that activity could actually be proof that there wasn't an agreement. That is, if you're just going around painting a whole bunch of houses hoping to get $2,000, and someone can prove that this is what you do, then that would be evidence that there was no agreement. But ordinarily, people don't go around painting people's houses unless they have a valid agreement, even if that agreement is oral. Therefore, when you look at a party's conduct, that is a good way to tell that there was an oral agreement and help you prove it in court. Ladies and gentlemen, even if you have an oral agreement, there is nothing stopping you from putting it in writing later on. You can sign a contract at any time. Even after you agree to the oral agreement, you can still then put it in writing later if they do, in fact, decide to sign it and agree to it as well. But let's say you don't do that. Any type of corroborating evidence will help you. So for example, if you have text messages, that will be very beneficial for you in an oral agreement. So let's say you have an old oral agreement. Just get out your cell phone, text the person that you had this agreement with and said, hey, I'm just texting you to remind you about that loan that you promised to pay me back on by the 1st of the next month. That is a writing that is contemporaneous, meaning it happened at the time of the agreement. That is the type of writing that would be admissible in court to prove that you had an oral agreement for a loan. It's 2024, ladies and gentlemen. Get out your cell phones, put it in a text, and this will memorialize what you agreed to orally. Now, the flip side of that is that if you receive a text message that you did not agree to orally, you can always respond to that text and say, hey, no, that was not our agreement. And that is also admissible. But if you don't refute what is being texted to you, then yes, that can be used as evidence in court to prove that you had a valid oral agreement. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the best thing to do is to get it in writing. But in case you don't, these are some ways that you can in fact enforce an oral agreement, so long as that oral agreement does not violate the Statute of Frauds. And in small claims court, the rules are often very relaxed because many people go in there with oral agreements. So there are ways that you can fight for your rights, fight to enforce an oral agreement, as long as it doesn't violate the Statute of Frauds. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you subscribe for more, and I look forward to reading your comments. Let me know what else you want me to talk about, and I'll talk about it. I'll see you soon, and thanks for watching.